On Friday, Omid Scobie's Liebrows finally admitted to writing the names of the alleged royal racists in an earlier draft of his book, after previously vehemently denying ever doing so. He then went on to call us all racist and blame his Dutch publisher for putting the wrong one out. However, now his Dutch publisher is coming forward and setting the truth. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and oh my goodness, the Liebrows continue. Just when I thought we were out, he pulls me back in with this ridiculous op-ed that he wrote. And if you didn't watch my scathing reaction over in Popcorn Palace, I hope you go do so. Thanks to everybody who did. However, now we have the response from the Dutch publisher. As you previously may recall in this article where he basically calls us all racist, now they're trying to make me pay for this op-ed. Never in a million years, Mr. Scabies. Now the Dutch publisher's coming forward after he hit back saying this was their fault. They're like, excuse me. He wrote, to be clear, the only publisher I worked directly with was the one covering the US UK. I spent 2 months with independent British barristers and legal counsel to ensure every detail was finished. Unbeknownst to me at the time, early and uncleared text was provided to the Dutch publisher in order for them to start work on a translation, with the understanding that their translation would be updated to reflect the final version of the book I officially submitted. His statement appeared to shift blame on the Harlem-based publishing house and has now been called into question by its director, Anne Rowland. Copies of the Dutch book, as we know, were pulled from the bookshelves across Holland, and yes, this was a big deal. However, now we have the full quote coming in. Piers Morgan sharing, breaking, Scobie's own publisher says he's a liar. This comes in from Rick Evers, who was the one who noticed this error in his Dutch version of the book and reported on it first. And here is what he got the Dutch publisher's comment responding to Scobie. The explanation of Omid Scobie in his column about the Dutch editorial process of Dutch version name of Endgame is factually incorrect, and we do not recognize ourselves in his story. Xander, the publisher, it's not allowed to say anything about these contents. So they're legally now not allowed to say anything. They directed comment to UTA, his agency, the same agency that called Meghan Markle untalented. It's hard to not think that there's not something happening here, that there's not something more going on, that this was, of course, planned, as we all know. That's what it sure looks like. And so while Liebrows is out there attempting to get everyone to just, just was trying to get this headline. It's racist. That's why. It's because we're unwilling to confront our race issues. Yeah, no, that's not what it's about. It's about your Liebrows, your continuing twisting, snaky, weaselly way of avoiding the truth. You try to tell us all that, well, it's because you didn't read the book. I forgot to share this one earlier on. This was the New York Times, who typically does actually support Meghan and Harry more often than not. They're definitely more one of the liberal outlets, and their review of after reading it reads like a press release cooked up by ChatGPT. That's what they called this. I want you all to remember that as we go forward. This is the book that Omid put all this energy and legal blah, blah, blah into. No, this is a rehashed nothing burger with a bunch of salacious allegations so he can cash in. But he's never going to admit that. He can't, because that would break his whole brand. But this has been happening for a while. So as these quotes have come in, as a translator myself, I've been screaming this from day one. The publisher and the translator should sue hard and fast. The translation publishing process is foolproof because of shady agents and authors. Boom. You see this one? It's going to get a like from me because this is what it's about. And the agent works very closely with the author, with the talent. And UTA and Scobie are clearly in cahoots on this, or Scobie's throwing one on the other. Someone's throwing someone under the bus. That's option one. Option two, they absolutely know what they're doing, and they're just trying to skirt the blame, hoping it goes away. And I am hoping and praying that this Dutch company is speaking to a legal representative, because I would want nothing more than that Dutch translator, the Dutch publisher, all of them to join forces to figure out how this happened, so we can open some discovery and really stick it to Omid and figure out what he actually did, what the truth is. And Omid, you should want that too. Instead of keep blaming race, it's all because we're racist. No, if you're really this journalist you claim to be, instead of this headline, you should be talking to us about, well, what happened? I'm furious that this happened. Yes, I wrote an earlier version, but I realized I didn't want to put that out legally, whatever. Sure, maybe that's an excuse, but obviously you wanted it out there. Legally, you just weren't allowed to. So now, of course, it's left for us to assume you did this on purpose. And yes, I want to make sure Liebrows is trending again. It was trending. Guys, we got Liebrows trending last week. I have it right here. If you don't believe me, actually, here it is. Here it is. Liebrows was trending on Twitter on Friday. So bravo to everybody. Let's do it again. Go share your thoughts on Liebrows and this book. And what do you think? The publisher's calling them out. Should they sue? I think they should. I want to read a couple more things coming in as the news was reacting to this Friday evening. I'd already stepped away from the recording booth, my studio here, so I wanted to catch you up today. But here's our friend Megan's Mole. To the dear Dutch translators who were dragged through the mud due to Omid's lies, here is your moment to sue him into bankruptcy for dragging your good name through the mud. You're also going to get a like, because well said, as this was breaking, he did lie. He basically admits to the lie while blaming us for being racist through his diatribe, his ridiculous rant. Here's the Royal Rogue. The honorless worm claimed Bellingame's Dutch version was a translation mistake, throwing the innocent professionals under the bus. Now he admits that early and unclear text was sent to the Dutch publisher. It's fun to see Scobie's career dying in real time. Yep, I'll like that one too. Well said. He confirms dig his own grave. He can't keep his mouth shut, just like Megan. I hope translators sue his effing eyebrows off. Well said. Mr. Scobie said, here's from Sabria. Mr. Scobie said, unbeknownst to me at the time, early and unclear text was provided. Blah, 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 blah. This is nonsense. Now, I want to read this one because this is important too. Sussex Codpiece, that's another good one, Liebrows. Omid Scobie now admits he did write two names in an early version, as he writes an article where he feels sorry for himself and claims everything in the book is factual. So he lied about never writing in the names and is now blaming his agents and publishers in the end. But it also confirms that Meghan Markle did indeed tell Omid whose names to include. Fact. Where else did he get it? Where else did he get these names? He's trying to say everybody knew. No, they didn't. A lot of people speculated. Meghan knew who she was alleging in this supposed letter that you clearly read. Who else would have given it to you? To be clear, the only publisher I worked directly with was the one covering the U.S., blah, blah, blah. And there was a version. Unbeknownst to me, early and uncleared text was provided to the Dutch publisher in order for them to start work, with the understanding that their translation will be updated. It's not how things work, you dum-dum. You send the book for translation. If that's not, why would you risk sending an uncleared the airtight legal version that you claim you have? Why would you risk this? You dummy. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, and I don't buy it for a second, Omid. It's not because of race. It's not because we're not confronting our race issues. It's because you lied. And now you're as if your credibility wasn't already shot, Liebrows. You've lied about so many dumb things you didn't need to lie about, including your age and whether you take private jets and who Pierce Morgan's on daily calls with the Queen. All this stuff you just put out there thinking nobody's going to care. We care. Your credibility is shot. So now this whole thing isn't about race issues. It's about lying. It's about hearsay. This was something she heard from Prince Harry, not something she heard directly. And then something she's saying she confronted. This is something only King Charles and Princess Catherine would know. And Meghan and Harry, right? Those are the suspects. So where did you get this information if it's so watertight and you're so sure of yourself? You clearly are still Meghan's mouthpiece is the point. And so, again, no proof. There's silence. You say you're not talking to them. You're lying about that as well. You were previously lying about finding freedom where you were caught on the stand. They had to have Meghan apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize my aides did it. There are emails, guys. I hate to repeat myself, but I want to make sure we're all as frustrated. Emails of Prince Harry saying she can't get caught sharing this information. Clearly, you guys are working through third parties and all this ways to work around so you're not caught sharing the information and putting this out there and doing exactly what you accused the royals of doing, being sneaky and bullies and harassing through the press. You've literally become what you accuse them of doing. You are no better, and I don't care anymore that you are not victims here. Enough is enough. For you to blanketly try to do this weird thing implying the royals are racist is defamatory. That's why you couldn't legally say it. And that's why you're trying to sneak around it. and you're a charlatan, you're a worm, your Liebrows are done. I'm over it. Headed over to Twitter. Let's get Liebrows trending again. What do you guys think of this? Should the Dutch publisher sue? That's really what I think is up here. I hope they do. Let's empower them and that translator for Omid Liebrows, defaming them. I think it's imperative because this is something, well, whose fault is it? If I'm writing a book, I don't want to send to that publisher. They're the ones who got in that snafu with Omid. Who knows what happened? There's real damages here. So I hope they are taking this seriously. What do you guys think? In the meanwhile, before you comment, can you do me a favor? Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts, smash that thumbs up, and yes, leave your comments down below. And yes, hashtag Liebrows all over Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Let's get it trending again. Show us that it's trending. Get the word out. And thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.